So what is it that's so much better about the fourth generation Toyota Tacoma, the 2024 and 2025s? You know, I've had several third generation and even a second gen Toyota Tacoma, and I love them all. This is not a dig against the third generation Tacoma, but what is it? You know, honestly, when I bought the fourth gen, I did it primarily, well, two reasons. One, I was curious to see exactly what it was like. And two, because I have a YouTube channel. Gotta stay current with the most recent stuff, right? But in the back of my head, I wondered, am I making a mistake? Am I gonna get this truck and wish that I had kept the third gen? And the answer to that is no. After having this truck for a while, I wouldn't go back to a third gen. Again, there's nothing wrong with the third gen. If you own a third gen and you're happy with it, and particularly if it's paid for, you've got the right truck. The best truck of any is a paid off truck. So what is it? Let's get to it. First of all, some of the tech and stuff that's inside. I mean, honestly, the third gen was starting to get a little bit long in the tooth, right? Looking at that same gauge cluster for, I don't know, 8 years, whatever it was, mostly. I mean, there's little ticks and little changes and things, but the fourth gen is so much better. It's all digital now. You've got all kinds of options, all kinds of different things you can look at. You can customize it the way that you want it. I love that. And it really stands out and looks modern. It brought Toyota in the Tacoma up to where a lot of the other brands already were for years. The radio screen. We have this nice, great, big, giant, 14-inch radio screen or infotainment screen now. I love that. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, and of course you'll get folks out there that say you should be concentrating on the road. You shouldn't be looking at that screen. I would argue that because it is bigger, I don't have to focus and put so much attention into it because I can see everything easier. So it really is a bit safer, I think. Not to mention all of the stuff you can do with it, all of the settings, all the things you can look at. It's just awesome. It's one of the things that I had to have in this truck when I decided to go from a 2024 fourth gen to the 2025. By the way, I am in a 2025 TRD off-road. It is the 4x4 for anybody that doesn't know. Previously, I had a 2024 Sport, and it was two-wheel drive, by the way. Caught a lot of flack for that, but honestly, living in South Texas, other than, I guess, monsoon-type rains, you really don't need a 4x4, unless you're a big-time off-roader or something, and then I'm not quite sure where you go down here anyway. Next up, the design of it. You know, it's one of the things that kind of held me back a little bit at first about getting a fourth gen, was I really wasn't sure about the design, the looks of the truck. I mean, I'm the kind of person that when I get a vehicle, I have to fall in love with it, right? And I do that way too frequently. I wasn't in love with the design of this truck when it first came out. But as people started to buy them and get them and modify them, you know, bigger tires, a lift, all that kind of stuff, I fell in love with the truck. It's something that just looks awesome. It looks just as good, in my opinion, as the third gen does when you put bigger wheels and tires, or different wheels and tires, a little bit of a lift, some mods and things, some debadging, you know, all the stuff that we do. It's as good as the third gen. I would put it equal. Next up is the power. We have to talk about the power. One of my biggest dislikes about the third gen Tacoma was the power, or lack thereof. And I'm really more referring to acceleration. It was a dog. Now, not to turn this into a pedal commander commercial, I'm not, but if you put any throttle controller, I used pedal commander, I have one on this truck, on a third gen, you will be amazed at the difference that it makes. You know, I had a manual, a 6-speed manual Tacoma, loved the color of the truck. That was my voodoo blue unicorn, right? It was a TRD off-road 4x4. I had it built, it was awesome. But the problem was it was even worse than an automatic when it came to acceleration. I put the pedal commander on it, completely transformed the truck. I loved it. Now, on this truck, do you need a throttle controller? Is there any kind of lag? It depends on which model you get, I have found. On my Sport, I would say no. The Sport really did not have a lot of throttle lag, hardly any, if any. This is the TRD Off-Road, as I mentioned, and it does have a bit of throttle lag. I don't know why. I don't know why Toyota would tune them differently. Maybe this one's a little heavier and it just takes a little bit more oomph to get it going, but it's definitely worth it on this truck to slap a throttle controller on it, in my opinion. Unless you're not sensitive to that. I am. When I hit the accelerator, it's not really a gas pedal anymore, it's drive-by-wire, right? But when I hit the accelerator, I want to go as quickly as possible. Of course, it doesn't hurt that I've driven other more higher-end vehicles. I have an electric vehicle, of course, and it goes instantly, so I'm a little spoiled when it comes to that. But nonetheless, if you're going to have a vehicle, you need to be happy with it. This truck will do it for you. It is by far better than the third gen was when it comes to acceleration. What about modability? You know, I love to do mods and things on trucks. I do them on every truck that I get, depending on, you know, what it is I'm in the mood for at the time. The third gen, other than probably Jeep, is the most moddable vehicle out there. Tons of things in the aftermarket. What about the fourth gen? Well, you know the aftermarketers are going to carry that through, and they are. There are more and more things coming out for this truck every day. Now, I will admit that in the beginning, there weren't a lot of options out there because the aftermarket people needed to put their hands on trucks, do all their measurements, engineering, all that stuff, to come up with even things as simple as center console trays. I mean, everything is different in this truck, right? I don't know that there are a lot of things that were transferable. Maybe the seat drop cushion, yeah, that's pretty universal. You could fit that anywhere. And maybe badging or things outside of the truck. I mean, you can stick a sticker on anything, right? But not so when it comes to more, I guess, technical things or things that have to be engineered. The market is catching up. There's a lot of stuff out there now. And speaking of mods and things, I have to mention something. I was watching a video the other day because I'm always looking for different things to do, right? And somebody had put an aftermarket exhaust on the truck. And they think it sounds awesome, which is good. That's fine. Any mod that you get, you should be in love with when you get it, right? But I listened to it and I'm like, man, that sounds kind of high-pitched, almost tinny, right? And nothing's worse than that. And the problem is you can't take a four-cylinder, whether it's a turbo like this is or not, and get V8 sound out of it. And I think that's what a lot of us are looking for that do exhaust. We think we can get that nice throaty sound. You really can't even get that out of a V6, if I'm being honest. I've tried. So just a heads up. Just it happened to pop into my mind because I just saw this video. I think it was yesterday. Anyway, I am very happy with this truck. I love it. I don't miss not having a third gen, other than maybe the appearance of it. I still think it's a pretty awesome looking truck, especially lifted and modded and all that good stuff. I see them out running around once in a while, and I might get a little tinge of regret, but definitely not enough to ever go back to the third gen. This truck is just awesome. Leave a comment. Let me know if you've made the switch, and I know a lot of you have. Are you happy with the new truck, or do you ever regret getting rid of your third gen? I'd just be curious to know. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there.